actually invited me. We had a meeting with them in the bank, together with bankers, and they said, listen, I don't owe this money. This is how much I owe, and this is the way we plan to pay it.
Yeah.
And I was set free. I mean, I didn't go to go behind bars because of that, or detained by EFCC, because there was a clear understanding, a clear plan to how to make
it. Emperor, we always don't hear this part, but when you're talking about this story, I can see you become more emotional. It takes you back to the day it happened. You know, as a CEO and president, I still see that a lot when you try to recount the story. Many of them don't make it alive. We have had such situation in Uganda here where they just die of stress, or they just go to sleep and they don't get up, and then something happened. You know, what are the lessons that we can pick from here? What can we learn from you right now? For all the CEOs who are watching this CEO program from all across the world, you've been caught in a situation like Emperor Baywood is talking about with your company. How do you pull out of it? You know, how do you get out of it? What are the things that you need to do to get out of it? You are a CEO up on the top, or you are a CEO going to the top? You know, how do you get out of this situation? What are the lessons that we can pick from here? We want you to write us comments. Kisses and disses are all welcome. And of course, we will have, Emperor Bay would write back, and some of those comment sections to give us, a thing or two. And if you're young and you're building, this is quite a journey for you to pick. It's a journey of patience.
Yeah, truly a journey of patience. You have to believe in yourself. That's number one. Number two, you have to be very confident. And you just have to have the spirit of can-do attitude. Again, let me put it this way. Yes, I know the banks are there. They want to collect as much money as they could. But you know what? They will always say, we're not in the business to sell your property.
Yeah.
We are not real estate owners. Our managers, we are interested in getting our money paid. Yeah. So you can, most times you enter you schedule your debt. Even countries with IMF, especially African countries, they always reschedule their debts, provided you are a going concern. If they kill you, your company, and kill Edith's company, and kill another person's company, they are not in business anymore.
Yeah, they will never get
So it's not actually in their best interest to kill anybody's company, all right? But they have to see a willingness. Why are we not able to replicate such organizations in Africa? Why do we have to grow and die and fizzle away? When you have companies, they say, established 200 years ago, established 100 years ago. Why can we not do it in Africa? Succession plan, sustainability plan, and the focus of the founder. Okay, these things got to come into play. It's a mix, right? I like to see my company being there and outlive me, and outlive my children. It's a legacy. So I pride myself in trying to build a legacy. It's not about how big. It's not about how big. You must not forget, right? Legacy is not about how big, but how you're able to nurture it, to grow and maintain. So that actually sets you apart from any other one. So we have grown as a company for over 30 years, and we have maintained the name. We didn't change the name. We have not changed the name. And we don't intend to change the name because it's a brand that we're very proud of. Yeah. And I do not intend to lose my brand identity. Because my brand identity says it all. If I go to the capital market to raise money, my brand identity also is a lot of brings in a lot of equity.
Yeah, right? That is where your equity is calculated.
And that's where my equity comes. Okay, yeah. I'm a brand identity. If you can't go to Shell today and say Baywood, they say we don't know Baywood. Yeah. You can't go to Total Energy in Nigeria and say Baywood. They say before you talk to 1, 2, 3 departments, at least they know. NNPC, just anywhere we have service. So it's a brand identity. Not only in the corporate world. What about the individuals that know you? What about the people you have come in contact with? Baywood. So it's a brand identity. It's priceless, and I treasure it. And this is one thing that I must tell to those people who are willing to build businesses. You must build your business to maintain your brand identity, right? It's not all about money. Make money, yes, we're all in business to make money, but it must be in business to make money and maintain and sustain your brand identity, because it's one thing that you can't wish away. It's priceless.
Yeah.
It's a treasure.
Yeah.
And this to me, I don't know about others, but to me, it's a treasure. And that's what I tell my children. I say, you must grow to this company. You must treasure this company. Don't mess up with the name. Because it's a name that is so dear to my heart, that I hold so dearly.
Wow. Talking of that, Emperor Chris Baywood, as we hasten to the evening of our interview today, I mean, we're talking right here, and I'm sure somebody was watching the show, a young person or a middle-aged person in a corporation or employed, or somebody on a CEO ladder climbing up, or somebody coming down. Obviously, you have a wealth of knowledge. Just shed a light for us on how big is Baywood Group, so that people just understand. You've been throwing figures and talking about 1989. We don't know what the magnitude. I just wanted to point us to the magnitude of the worth of the company and the lessons that we can pick from there, and how this company is transforming lives back in Nigeria and across the world, and where is it located?
I would like to say that in Nigeria oil and gas, in my core area of business, I think we should be among the top 5. All right, in capacity, in experience, and in project portfolio.
Yeah,
I would say we're amongst the top 5, amongst the top 10 indigenous companies. Our project portfolio is large, and in doing that, we try to develop skills in-house. I would say in my structure, I don't have international, except project-based. When it matters most that I bring international experts. Other than that, we're a fully indigenous company.
yeah.
From top to bottom, we're fully indigenous,
Yeah.
providing the services. We bring in international experts on need basis. And that we have done a couple of times, but they finish their project and they go.
Yeah.
In terms of portfolio size, we say that our portfolio is quite large. I just like to keep it that simple.
Can you give us a figure? I mean, it's just, if you don't mind.
We have done projects in hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay?
Hundreds of millions or billions of dollars?
Not billions, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
That I can tell you. Cumulatively, over the time, I think we would have done projects in excess of about $2-3 billion.
Okay.
Over time, cumulatively,
Yeah.
either as a solo or joint venture.
Okay.
Because
And what's our asset base kind of looking like?
our asset base is heavy, but these assets depreciate.
Yes.
Right? We have a large armada of assets. All right, construction asset that is really quite very impressive, very very impressive.
In terms of its portfolio?
In terms of portfolio, don't forget we were in aviation. We had our helicopters.
Yeah, yeah.
We operated 4 fleets of helicopters.
Yeah.
AW139. AW is Augusta Westland.
Yeah.
Augusta Westland helicopters. We operated pre-COVID, but of course, Nigeria has been hit so much, particularly in oil and gas. Our operation went down because the activities of exploration and production in Nigeria went down so much so that business activities declined. And one of the major hits is aviation, because this operation is done for the IOCs to move people back and forth. And when they reduce their footprint of operation, a lot of things didn't occur any longer, and it's still on, because even as of today, due to the challenges we have in the Niger Delta, due to a lot of what I call oil theft, our production capacity has dropped from about 1.8 million barrels, 1.4 to 1.2, and now it's about 800,000 barrels per day of oil. So most of our activities is more or less, then with the insecurity in Nigeria actually. Activities have tapered down a little bit in Nigeria, that I can say. So our assets are just idling out because we don't have a lot of equipment. We don't have a lot of jobs right now to deploy this asset. Hence, the depreciation, and our looking elsewhere, coming to Uganda, because we know that Uganda has a lot of opportunities today in the oil and gas industry, and they're yet to develop their local capacity. All right, and I'm very happy with the way the Ugandans are going. They're more focused towards partnering with Africans, African companies who have over the years, made their mark in the industry, rather than build their own capacity and train their people. So rather than partner with international organizations, they're rather more inclined to partnering with local companies, Nigerian African-oriented companies, like Baywood, and this is why I'm here, and we're hoping that all things being equal, we may be deploying those armada of idling equipment to Uganda to support the oil and gas activities.
Wow. I want to just bring this. I know you have not answered that, but I wanted to know, in terms of coming to Uganda, when you talk about, you've given out the portfolio in terms of the business, but in terms of the asset base, I know you talked about the depreciation, but just to give us an understanding. Sometime when you're talking, people would be thinking, and we're talking about mandazi, and we're talking about bananas and chips. We're not talking about this. We're talking these things that are different all level altogether. I want to give us that understanding of what the asset portfolio like, just rough.
You mean in terms of value?
Asset value, yeah.
Asset value? Yeah. Well, if you have to buy those assets today,
total as you have,
what we have, you'll be spending close to about $150 million to $200 million to acquire there. Without the helicopters, of course, one helicopter is about $30 million, $35 million. Yes. But of course, we don't own those helicopters anymore because we